Cheerio, bonjour. I apologize for all the nonsense behind me. We're redoing the pantry, and so the flour and all this. Okay, Sarah Boone is killing me. Oh my goodness. Are you? I'm still shocked. I'm speechless. Oh my goodness. So I'm continuing this letter. I'm really having massive computer issues, and that's why I have not been able to do this. And I'm hoping what I'm doing right now actually works, because with my luck, it will not. Okay, so I'm continuing. This is part two of the letter she wrote to Mr. Kranig. You know, he's not the Honorable Judge Kranig any longer, the way he was when he first became her judge. I think Wooten was pretty flexible with her. I thought he gave her a lot of slack, and Kranig just didn't play any games, and that's why she is only referring to him as Mr. Okay, so this is her actual statement that I'm shocked she read. Let me know below. I'm not sure if Kranig was going to give her a life sentence until this statement happened. I happened to watch someone else the other day, and they said that George's family members were slowly getting up and very quietly leaving during her statement, which obviously they have the right to. I had not seen that on Law and Order or Court TV anywhere. If you've seen that also, let me know below. But how about her? I forgive you. Another thing, this is forever. This is forever. This is forever. 3 times in a row. Okay. Sarah Boone versus State of Florida. I have also added to my statement, as a result of your blindness and impartiality, foremost your disgust in me being an outspoken woman, determined defendant, and proactive client. I think she forgot to say, and an asshole who is not nearly as smart as she thinks she is. Hoping the next time you put on your listening ears and do not unfairly oppress the next as you have so blatantly done me. She means done to me. She treated George like a little child. Sorry, I have something in my glasses that's bothering me. And now she's trying to treat the court like a child. Put on your listening ears? My goodness, what is wrong with you? I'm not even sure if I ever even said that to my children. I know my parents said it to me, but I was born deaf, so, I get a pass. You will never admit your many judicial errors, nor will the prosecutors theirs, and I will never admit to what you have wrongfully accused me of and judged me as. She's brilliant. Remember, underlined, I am not a murderer, I am a survivor. Okay, well, what's funny is that Brian, her ex-husband, was not on the stand very much at all. And part of the reason was because if the defense started asking him questions, the prosecutor would be able to ask him many questions. And the day of, Brian said Sarah would get drunk and attack me. He admitted she hadn't had a job in years. And here she's claiming that, okay, I'll be quiet. Black robe disease, arrogance in a judge, slang, blah, blah, blah. We don't care. Impartiality is the first duty of a judge. Before he gives an opinion or sits in judgment in a cause, he ought to be certain and absolute that he has no bias for or against either of the parties. Okay, well, I have to tell you something. I think that Judge Kranig absolutely did that. He allowed her to put in the battered spouse defense because apparently George was able to put 2 little fingers up. I mean, I was horrified when that happened. I thought, oh my goodness, she's going to be acquitted. I was truly, truly worried. Okay, back to the letter. If he has any interest, and I believe she means Judge Kranig, even the most slightest in the cause. I'm sorry, you guys, she writes like a 14-year-old girl. If you're ever bored, go on the Orange County website. Bart, get off the damn table. Get off the table. She writes like a 14-year-old girl. Oh my goodness. He is disqualified from sitting as a judge, and when aware of such interest, ought to lawfully and justly refuse to sit on a case. The delicacy which characterizes the judges in this country generally forbids their sitting in such a case. Okay, well, Sarah, that is true. However, there was no bias in this case. Judge Cranick gave you every advantage you could possibly have. So I don't even want to keep reading this. This is Law Dictionary stuff. 2012 edition. I guess Orange County has not given them more updated law libraries. Okay, this is just more nonsense. More nonsense. She's quoting things of the... okay, you guys know this Kinsu Kurois thing. She talked about the Japanese where when something breaks, they fill it with gold. Well, apparently, I may have said this in my last video. There's a channel called Guilty Words, and this woman quotes the book that Sarah wrote that from. And I mean, Sarah quoted every word. She 100% plagiarism. I think there's probably more plagiarism that people have not picked up on, but they will pick up on now. Okay. Oh, remember, God is now her artisan. All of her gold is forgiveness. Well, she's gained a lot of something. So, the damage caused by George Torres, the Torres family, the justice system, Judge Wooten and Cranick, Orange County Corrections Department, social media, scoundrel detectives. You had a horrendous interrogation. A smart person could have walked out of there perfectly fine. You were just stupid. Infamy, defamation, ongoing constitutional rights violations, second-degree murder, forced into being pro se. She was not forced into being pro se. So I have to tell you, just looking at myself, my eyes look really, really red, but I'm not stoned. I don't know why. She wasn't forced into being pro se. Even Judge Wooten warned her, if you don't chill out, you're going to have no attorney. Well, he didn't call her a dumb hoe, but he just thought it in his head. Just as gold is very precious, forgiveness is invaluable. Okay. I must have missed a page because there was times I must have that George would keep her up. Yes, here it is. He would keep her up at night. And she had to go to work or her son's field trip the next day. Come on, man. She didn't work and you weren't going to your son's field trips. Okay. Withholding, blah, blah, when you go, blah, blah, blah. My goal begins with every time. Oh, here's something. Something I picked up on. Okay, so I was in a DV relationship very badly. Oh, look, you can see one of my cats over there. Where the hell is he? How do I even see him? Oh, he's over there. But, and I mean, fractured orbital bone, broken wrist, broken ankle, lots of stuff. But she writes, where am I? Okay, ready? Her gold, remember, her gold is the healing. And I'm going to say what she says. And every time he slapped me, kicked, punched, spit on, stabbed, choked, laughed at, pushed, pulled, dragged, whipped, tripped, stole from, lied, terrorized, threatened, humiliated, forced, degraded, made me cry. Every time he tried to end me, defeat, or destroy. And that's all underlined. Okay. If someone slaps you and they also are you, do you know what I mean? Aped, but with an R, that those don't just come out exactly the same. I can't remember the word. Her words didn't change. She was just like, ba, 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 ba. Okay, well, if that dude really actually R'd you, that would have been the very first thing. But isn't it funny how she never ever mentioned that he R'd her before? She forgives George for beating her senseless, trying to sleep because she had to go to work or her son's field trip. Okay, this is where my pages got messed up. For ruining her deceased family's heirlooms. Wrecking our townhouse, breaking windows, blah, blah. So I don't buy into all that. Breaking or removing the locks from the doors, and sometimes the knobs altogether. My guess is he removed a knob on the inside of the house because Sarah was changing the locks in the house, and then she would put the new key back in the same two hiding spots. So he knew exactly where they were. Sarah was a nut job. Michael J., one of the DAs, he said that Sarah used the justice or the police department as her little court system. She talks about he beat her bloody on her son's bed. Well, it's a good thing your son only slept there one night a week. Good name. Her blind and deaf dogs. Yes, she had a blind and deaf dog because she liked the attention she received from it. Oh, aren't you so wonderful? You have a blind and deaf dog. That was part of her attraction to George. Oh, you're dating a little tiny man who's a little bit smaller than you are, and definitely not nearly as intelligent. And I don't think Sarah's. I don't think the elevator goes to the top floor. Threatening to make me unrecognizable to my son. Okay, the neighbors and the apartment manager all testified that whenever her son was at the house, the only person they ever saw outside with the son was George. They never ever saw Sarah. So, that's something. I want to shut this down in a minute and do a part 3. That's something Sarah forgets about. She, in her little family letters, her family court letters, she's writing that her son hates her now and he's calling her a murderer. Well, her son knew George for 3.5 years. They developed a bond together. George spent more time with her son than she did. George is probably or her son is probably a little upset that she murdered George. She murdered him. Remember her Scarlet M? She murdered him. The drunken rages and fistfights with so many neighbors when wandering into their apartments during the hunting expeditions after I had escaped. I read that one time he did that, and he walked into a different townhouse, and he was just walking around saying, "Sarah, Sarah." He wasn't threatening. It freaked the woman out, but he wasn't angry. Okay, this part, and then I'm going to shut it down. For drowning her in liquor and wine because she didn't want to drink, causing me to urinate on myself, then butting the edge of the plane, for making me experience what it's like to be sodomized. Okay, well, if that were true, I would have probably kept that to myself. I also would have kept to myself the urinating it in my pants. Brian said Sarah was a drunk her entire life. But all of a sudden it's just George. George wakes her up to drag her down to start drinking. I mean, come on, man. For real? Okay, I will do a part 3. I may even get to it tonight. Who knows? I'm frustrated. I have a lot going on. If you're still watching, I'm humbled. I'm shocked. Make sure you hit like, hit subscribe. God bless you. And oh my goodness, thank God. God bless this America. Bye-bye.